there! Can you believe it's Friday already? Boy, the month of June is really flying by. But thanks for making time for today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. Stay right there. Today's show promises to be an informative and entertaining one.
As of May 31, whenever you are making local calls, you will have to use the area code 876 before you dial the existing 7-digit numbers in your contact list. This is because Jamaica will be receiving a new area code, 658. Yes, our little island will now have 2 area codes, and to ensure you're calling the right person, you will have to dial 10 digits. Don't worry, if this is new to you, you still have time to get used to it, because there is a 5-month permissive dialing period where you will be constantly reminded. 10-digit dialing, another step in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 8. Government will be constructing 10 housing units to care for mental health patients. The units will be built on the compound of the Lionel Town Hospital, Clarendon. During his sectoral presentation in Parliament this week, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton announced that construction would be managed by Food for the Poor in collaboration with the National Health Fund at a cost of $72,000. The project is among several initiatives to improve mental health care in the public sector. Dr. Tufton says there will also be community outreach programs and training of community health aides. School administrators will also be given the tools to detect mental disorders among students.
Part of the response is to train teachers, guidance counselors, and physical education coaches in the early detection and referral of mental disorders, particularly depression, build resilience skills and mental health literacy in high school system, Mr. Speaker, and embark on the implementation of an early stimulation program, which has been proven to reduce mental illness.
Among its interventions in 2017, the ministry purchased 2 new emergency vehicles for mobile community health teams. 5 more vehicles will be bought. Meanwhile, $2.1 million is being spent on energy efficiency and renewable energy interventions in 6 health facilities across the island. They are the Bellevue, National Chest, Black River and Maypen hospitals, as well as the Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Center and the Savannah Lamar Public Hospital.
They will receive solar water heaters and energy efficiency retrofits to reduce their collective electricity demand by some 1.3 million kilowatt hours each year, which translates, Mr. Speaker, to savings of at least 41 million Jamaican dollars per annum.
The Energy Minister made the announcement during a recent sitting of the House of Representatives. The project is to be done through a partnership between the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica and the Global Environment Facility Trust Fund. The new Youth Innovation Centers being set up across the island will assist in the fight against crime. That assertion comes from Education, Youth and Information State Minister Floyd Green. He was speaking at the recent launch of the Westmoreland Youth Innovation Center. Minister Green says the facility will provide a channel through which the youth can create employment for themselves and others.
The real fight against crime is touching people and providing them with a different pathway. It's education, it's training, it's personal development. That is what will be on the front line of the fight against crime.
The minister says an entrepreneurship program has already started at the Westmoreland Center to steer young people towards another source of income. The innovation centers provide a space through which clubs can congregate, meet, plan, and ultimately become social enterprises that will help to build their communities and sustain the clubs. There are currently 11 youth innovation centers across Jamaica. With an above-average hurricane season projected and its inherent dangers, persons are being reminded that those who live in areas prone to flooding can be forcibly removed under law once this threat has been identified. The warning comes from Major Clive Davis, Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, OPM. He says that under the Disaster Risk Management Act, the OPM Director General has the power to move anybody in a natural disaster once a threat is imminent. However, this is contingent on certain conditions, including the approval of the Prime Minister. OPM's Director General was speaking yesterday at a Rotary Club of Kingston luncheon. To enhance the country's readiness for this hurricane season, he says engagement with residents and proper coordination of evacuation plans have started in several communities. The 2018 Atlantic hurricane season is projected to be near or above normal, with 10 to 16 named storms, 5 to 9 hurricanes, and 1 to 4 major hurricanes that are Category 3 and above. And finally, government is seeking a suitable location to establish a taxi stand for commuters and transport operators in Barbican, St. Andrew.
We will consult, we will work with, we will collaborate, we will sit down and talk with the taxi men to come up with a workable solution. Already I have given an instruction to the NAA to identify a suitable location for an appropriate taxi stand. We will be looking in the area to see where that can be done.
The Prime Minister was addressing journalists following a recent tour of the newly completed Barbican Road Upgrade Project. The $4.4 million project significantly widened and upgraded the roadway, which is expected to alleviate congestion in the area. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
We are children and we have rights. We have a right to be
protected,
provided for,
and included. Don't beat me up, don't belittle me, and please don't molest me.
I am under 13. I should not be working for a living. That is child labor. It is illegal.
Stop leaving me alone. I am too young to provide for myself. I need your guidance.
Protect our nation's children. They have rights too. To learn more about children's rights, call or visit the offices of the Child Development Agency.
The final group of children to sit the Grade 6 Achievement Test received their results yesterday. This closes the chapter of GSAT exam in Jamaica. By this time next year, Grade 6 students will be expecting results from their primary exit profile examinations, PEP. Learn more in this next feature.
The Grade 6 Achievement Test has finished its course, and the time has come for the primary exit profile to start its journey.
PEP is the acronym for the primary exit profile, and it is the new exam that will replace the current Grade 6 Achievement Test. It's a better test. I don't think people need to be afraid of it. It is far more student friendly. It is designed that instead of being a one-shot exam, it will be assessment over a 3-year period. And important that the final set of assessment will only now be on the Grade 6 curriculum. So we think it's a much better assessment to better prepare our students for high schools.
PEP is closely aligned to the new National Standards curriculum that is being implemented to equip students with 21st century skills.
The primary exit profile, PEP, has 3 components. We have the performance task, and we have the ability test and the curriculum-based test. The performance task, this is an activity that will be given to the students. It is an activity that is based on the curriculum at the different grades. Whether if the performance task is at grade 4, it will be based on the grade 4 curriculum. This task will look at putting the children into a real-world scenario where they are asked to respond based on the content that they would have gained from being exposed to the National Standards curriculum to respond to an activity in a scenario. The ability test looks at verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning. It's not curriculum based, meaning that it's not based on the curriculum at grade 4, 5, and 6. So students in responding to these items will not need content knowledge at the grade 4, 5, and 6 level. The curriculum-based test, this will be based on the grade 6 curriculum. It will be in social studies, science, mathematics, and language arts. Unlike GSAT, it has multiple choice items along with other item types. So you will have the multiple choice with explanation, you will have matching, order matching, you will have table grade, a different variety of item types. We are advanced in our preparation for PEP administration. We start with our mock tests. Come June, we'll have our grade 4 students as well as our grade 5 students doing mock performance tasks. The grade 4 students, they will do their performance task in language arts and mathematics. Our grade 5 students will do our performance task in language arts, mathematics, social studies, and science.
Okay, good job, good job.
In our preparation, we have also trained our grade 4 teachers, our grade 5 teachers. They have also been trained in how to assess the curriculum at the classroom level. We will be training those same group of teachers, the grade 4 and 5 teachers, in May in administering the performance task, because there is a section on the performance task that requires the teacher, the classroom teacher, to do a series of activities to prepare the students, to make them feel comfortable going into doing their own task the following day.
The trainings that were done were really great. It had us as teachers being very active. We would have received material that would help us to make or develop assessment questions that would assist our children and even us as teachers to get the practice in how we go forward into developing assessment activities and teaching our children to be really critical thinkers when we are teaching and assessing them.
We're excited about the move to PEP because this is what the society needs. The National Standards Curriculum, which PEP is designed on, is creating students that are globally competitive.
This will not just have the children looking at knowledge alone, but it will have them engage, actively engage. And so the skills that we will be developing in them will take them far and wide globally, because these skills are really needed wherever they go.
Can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Today marks the end of Disaster Preparedness Week for schools, but starting Monday, June 11, Disaster Preparedness Week for business begins. Watch now as we highlight how the Jamaica Social Investment Fund is working to increase Jamaica's resilience to natural disasters.
Disasters are expensive, costing life and property and a great deal of money for cleanup and repairs. For Jamaica, our small size, location and topography means that the country is especially vulnerable to earthquakes, hurricanes and floods. While it's difficult to prevent these devastating events, there are things that can be done to reduce the damage. The Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project DVRP, funded by the World Bank and implemented by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, aims to strengthen the country's ability to withstand and recover from natural disasters.
It's a project that's going to be focused on physical infrastructure investments, equipping and institutional strengthening of the relevant government agencies that are normally tasked to do this work. I'm talking about OPM, I'm talking about the Ministry of Local Government, through the Fire Brigade, through NEPA, through the National Works Agency, the Earthquake Unit at the University of the West Indies. These are normally the agencies that have to respond when natural disaster strikes.
Fire services are most critical in protecting life and property from not only fires but also other natural disasters. Under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project DVRP, over 140,000 persons within the parishes of St. Mary, St. James and St. Thomas will benefit from 3 new fire stations that will be constructed and provided with rescue equipment to include protective gears and extrication tools.
Well, I'll feel a little more secure going away, know that I have fire service right next to me and they would be better able to respond to the event of a fire.
This new fire station means a lot to us. In that, it will give us peace of mind, knowing that we are in a more secure building so that we can serve our community members better.
Even though Jamaica has not experienced a major earthquake since 1907, every year the country experiences over 200 minor tremors, and the threat of major devastation is always looming. When it comes to preparing for an earthquake, data collection is important as this helps in understanding the risk associated with this event and will inform policy towards strengthening the country's resilience. Through the DVRP, assistance will be given to the University of the West Indies Mona Campus Earthquake Unit, which is responsible for monitoring the country's seismic activities. All their seismic stations will be upgraded.
There's a number of different pieces of equipment we can receive. The first one is a series of seismometers, and these are digital seismometers. And these are to basically fit out the remaining stations with digital seismometers. So we're going to end up with those 10 stations completely upgraded and then add an additional station to it, so an 11th station there. So we're moving from, we've got analog to digital. Additionally, we have a series of accelerometers. And the accelerometers do a different thing. The seismometers are there to record the earthquakes and they don't get triggered early on. The accelerometers are really there to tell us how the buildings shake. What is the severity of the shaking that goes on? And the importance of that is that a building will survive up to a certain amount of shaking and then it will collapse and then it will kill people. We obviously want to understand across Jamaica how the acceleration changes, how when you get an earthquake, the building shaking changes across the island.
In an effort to address Jamaica's limited human capacity in the field of seismology, the project will fund a junior research fellow who will read for a PhD degree in seismology over a 3-year period and upon completion will be employed as a seismologist in the unit. Floods have large social and economic consequences for communities and individuals. When there's a heavy downpour, which is not unusual for the island, the lives of residents in many communities are disrupted. The project will see major infrastructure work done in Old Harbour and along Port Royal Street to limit the effects of rising and rough waters.
The improvement works in Old Harbour will include the expansion and the improvement of the urban drainage and also bridges. Myton Gully, Church Pen, those areas in Old Harbour, and Big Pond.
Big Pond, whenever time it comes, I mean, no car can pass, flood out my house, wash our clothes, anything, you understand? So we'll be grateful for JSIF and everybody to come on board to fix it.
When the pond come over, it's hamper even to school children then. It is so dangerous that it take life already. When JSF and NWA are coming, come do this for me. Oh my God, just like that. We'll be so glad and happy.
Along Port Royal Street in Kingston, 2 kilometers of coastal revetments will be constructed and retrofitted. This will benefit the patrons and owners of the various business establishments located around this area, as well as users of the Norman Manley International Airport. And there's more.
There is also a very important, critical element of the DVRP, which is funding to support training on the building code. Jamaica is moving towards enacting a new code, and so it will be important that persons involved in the construction industry, the players in government, or professionals, engineers, architects, etc., are fully exposed and trained on this new building code, and the project will support that.
The total cost for the overall project is $42 million and is expected to be completed by 2022. The best time to prepare for a natural disaster is before it happens. Collecting information on disaster and risk reduction, constructing disaster-resilient buildings and structures will go a far way in limiting the cost of these natural hazards within Jamaica.
We all know that as we are now in the rainy season, it is imperative to find and destroy all mosquito breeding sites that are formed in and around our homes. Here are some practical ways that you can do that.
Mosquitoes are undoubtedly annoying, with their irritating sound and stinging bites. But there are more compelling reasons we'd rather not have them around. Several species are carriers of diseases and a threat to human health. Of most significance to Jamaica is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, known to transmit dengue fever, chikungunya, yellow fever, and the Zika virus. Only female mosquitoes bite, doing so to get the blood they need for egg production. And therefore, only female mosquitoes transmit these viruses.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is what we call a timid feeder. So she's easily disturbed when feeding. It means that in one night, she may feed on several persons before she takes her complete blood meal. Each time she feeds, she secretes that substance. And in the secretion of the substance, the pathogen is passed on. So in one night, one female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to infect more than one person.
The female Aedes aegypti mosquito is a prolific breeder.
One female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to lay up to 200 eggs each time she lays her eggs. So one mosquito can populate an entire area.
The lifespan of the mosquito is around 3 weeks, and the entire cycle from egg to adult can occur in as little as 7 to 8 days. Female mosquitoes are ready to mate within a few hours after reaching their adult stage, and males are usually ready within 24 hours.
This mosquito prefers cleaner waters for the female mosquitoes. She will lay her eggs in water, and for the Aedes, it will be water which is in and around the household.
So while there are a number of things we can and should do to prevent being bitten, the most effective way to prevent the spread of diseases by these mosquitoes is to prevent their breeding.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is a mosquito that breeds in a containerized environment. They do not breed in rivers and drains, but they breed in containers that can be found in and around where persons dwell. So come with us and let us show you some of those breeding sites. This is a typical dish drainer that we find in most homes. And under most dish drainer is a tray that collects the water that comes off the dishes. And believe it or not, we have found breeding in several homes in these dish drainers. Yes. You can see that we have water that has settled. If this water does not evaporate quickly, it can lend itself to the breeding of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So you not only have to empty the dish drainer, but you have to scrub to remove those eggs. This is the typical saucer that we will find under a plant. The rain has recently fallen, it has collected water, and right now it is steaming with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Do you have some of these in your home? Aedes aegypti prefers water that is a little bit on the cleaner side, and it's found in a shaded environment. So what should we do with something like this? It's quite simple. You need to throw away the water. And if these containers are not being used, you have to keep them turned down so they're not able to collect water. If you have them under your plants, we ask that you bore holes in them so that it will not collect water. Do you have these in your homes? We find these in a lot of hotels and business places. And we ask those persons, check these bird baths or any ornamental things like these you have in your garden to ensure that they are not breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There are things like this thrown down in person's backyard. Old equipment, old furniture, old fixtures that are taken from homes, especially during construction. These are also able to hold water. And if they're holding water and sit for a while in the environment, they will also breed mosquitoes. And so we have found breeding in wheelbarrows, in old refrigerator, in old sinks such as this one. And we ask persons, if you're throwing out these, please ensure that they are positioned in such a way that they will not collect water.
Many persons, when they do have their drums, most times drums do not have any covers. So there is a mesh cover which is so designed to replace the missing covers. It is lightweight, and what we do is just simply slip it over, and the mesh is so designed mosquitoes will not be able to go through this mesh to get to the water. So this is the ideal way. One of the benefits also of this mesh is that even when rain does fall, water will go right through it. This is a typical example where this we have is a plastic drum, and we have a metal cover here which is not designed for this. Whilst in some practice the intent is good, there may be occasions in which it does not fit or sit properly, and as a result you still have openings where mosquitoes can go right through and breed.
The mosquito is breeding right there in some very small places right around where you live. What is the habit we want you to develop? Once every week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Today is World Oceans Day, and it's being observed under the theme, Clean Our Oceans. One way of ridding our oceans of harmful items, such as plastics and other non-biodegradable items, is to 1. Exercise proper disposal of garbage, and 2. Recycle our plastics. Did you know that there is an agency right here in Jamaica where you can drop off all your plastic bottles so they can be recycled? Yes. Located at 22A Lyndhurst Road in Kingston is the Recycling Partners of Jamaica.
We're open Monday to Saturday. The gate opens at about 8:30, 9 o'clock on these days, and we're closed by about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
So, the next time you decide to discard of your plastic, do it the correct way. Go for paper and other biodegradable materials when you can. And let's make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business in a sustainable way.
And that's all we have for this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. But tune in tomorrow, same time, same station, for another informative show. Remember to share your feedback and comments by emailing us at jamaicamagazine@gis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News or visit our website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Remember, let's work together to better protect our island home.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.